Are you trolling me? Yeah, no, I just started watching it. It's actually like...
I just watched the first episode. Hey, and welcome to the show. Third episode of Matt to Matt. We are officially live, and there goes the brook again. I'm your host, Matt. With me is other Matt.
The other host.
Not to other eyes, but my mic's coming off the rail here. What were you talking about a second ago?
Yeah, definitely Black Mirror.
In the pre-show? What about it?
Well, it's a decent show. It's just...
That's not what you said a second ago.
What? I said
You said it was an awesome show.
Well, I don't want to hype it up to be more than what
don't
it is,
mitigate for their sake, okay? Be real.
All right. I really liked the first episode and second episode. The second episode of the first season of Black Mirror, on point. That sound means on point. It was really good. First episode had some inappropriate parts. It's about technology in general and the, I don't know, different ways it could be used for conniving people. Pretty good though. Pretty thought-provoking. I would say the people who recommended it to me probably subscribed to more fringe theories of history than most normal people. But it's still good. I'd recommend it. First and second episodes of season 1. The rest I've been watching and they're like, alright. They're not great though. I skipped one. One was like, I'm going to give it away because this episode was crappy, but they got like everything they see with their eyes is recorded. So, and they have a habit of just like living in the past. So they'll point their eyes at things just to capture it with the little cameras that are implanted in them. They look at them, and a guy like suspects his wife of cheating on him. So he like zooms in. You can like record it, and you got cameras in your eyes, and he's like, look at it, puts it on the screen, and zooms in on her like laughing with some other dude. I don't know. Not well. That's it. I just ruined the episode for you, but how are we doing on the mic?
Just a second.
All right, just 1 second, guys.
1 second. Keep
Word of the day.
What's the word of the day, man?
I'm telling you right now, but I'm gonna give you more.
Word of the day is recuse.
Good word.
Recuse. The word of the day is recuse.
Different word. Recuse is good too. Jeff Sessions recused himself.
Bless you.
From the Attorney General position today.
That's not
Trump's.
That's not true.
What?
That's not true.
It's fake news?
No, you don't recruit. You recuse yourself.
Do you recuse other people?
No, you recuse yourself from a case because you are no longer unbiased or.
I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought recuse meant he's not going to be the Attorney General anymore.
Okay,
That's
the
all.
reason you would make that that mistake is because there were some people saying recuse yourself and other people saying resign.
Well,
And,
they both start with R. I mean,
yeah, and
rehabilitate yourself. Same
one
thing.
means you can't work your job no mo, and the other means you're no longer on this case. Judges will recuse themselves if they like end up being like assigned a case where they know the person or it's like personal to them. Yeah, my wife was, caught in something. I don't know.
A man
These are terrible
and
examples.
His wife can't be charged for the same crime. Not true, but that's
I don't
from
think
a
that's
show.
true. I don't think that's true, Dad.
He's not talking.
So every time I move this, the camera moves. Oh,
good.
that's
It's good
perfect.
luck.
I'll just leave it where it is. I
You're
won't,
closer to
but
me.
we're gonna go with that idea. I had to hook my
I can't read our chat.
My
Our chat's
telescoping
saying
boom.
some amazing things.
Oh no. I feel so bad. Chat. Where are you, chat?
Oh, we see
no
you, chat.
audio.
Nice whale background, he says.
Where's your sound? I can hear it. Here. Yeah. Sound is present now. Nice whale background. Thank you. Slide out for a sec.
Slide out. Slide out.
Yeah. I got these for a pretty good deal. They don't match. I thought they did when I was looking at them in the store. They're different whales. This is a blue whale. That's a different type of whale. It's not a blue whale.
Like sperm?
A great whale. Maybe.
Whale?
I'm not sure. I was going to hang them both like they were like when you were fishing and you caught them and you hang them. But I don't know if you hang them by the tail or by the gill when you catch a whale. So I hung one each way.
You just leave it on the beach, I think. Kind of take chunks off. Oh my gosh. Have you seen the video of a town in, I'm going to make it up, but Florida? The mayor said, yeah, that beached whale, it is a tragedy. It is really ruining our beachfront value. I don't know, whatever.
Really?
Like the tourism or something, right? We need to blow it up.
Sounds like
TNT. They use TNT to blow up
I
a
did see
beach
that
whale.
one.
It's
That's so stupid. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty dumb.
grody. pretty gross.
Then there's like giant chunks of flaming whale just.
Stop. That's exactly
Guy
right.
with the camera like 50 feet away. He's like, ha ha! Oh no!
That's
Oh,
yeah.
yes, it was
But
pretty
that's
good.
not the word of the day. We have to get back to that. The word of the day is prevaricate. The exact definition is it's a verb, to prevaricate. Speak or act in an evasive way. Here's an example sentence. He seemed to prevaricate when journalists asked pointed questions. So yeah,
It means
prevaricate.
to what now?
To speak in an evasive way, or sorry, speak or act in an evasive way. And
I mean, like all politicians.
yeah. All we say politicians. We mean prevaricators. I don't know. Yeah, but they prevaricate. I guess there you go.
Okay.
That's throw that in a sentence. Use it a couple times. Remember it. You'll look as smart as I do. Maybe don't use it. I don't know.
No, do use it. Do
use it all you want.
Oh, Trump yesterday was prevaricating like crazy.
It's raining.
Actually, it's funny because he's like the only person who doesn't. He just gives wrong answers, or like, Trump. Trump doesn't prevaricate at all.
Oh,
They're
well,
just like, what do you think about this? And he's like, well, let me tell you what I think about it. Never heard of that before. I hear it's good. I've never heard of it, but I hear that it's good. People tell me this, you know. Like, seriously. Like, he'll state it, and then he'll back off and go, but that's not my opinion. That's his. Here's what I think, but that's his opinion. Prevaricating,
that sounds
I
like
assume.
prevarication.
Prevarication would be like, well, let's talk about. I'm glad you asked that because
that-
let's
yeah.
talk about the
I'm
real
glad you
reason we're
asked.
here today. Because if you think about it, don't point.
Talking point. That's it. Thank you for asking. That's exactly right. And the thing I wanted to talk about was we should bring up the clip of Psych, where Sean runs for some political office and he's getting coached by somebody got murdered. It's a murder case. He has to solve it or something. He's like taking their place.
What? A murder case on Psych?
Yeah, I know. But and he's taking advice from like a coach on how to run his how to act in his campaign. He's like, never answer the question they ask. Only answer the question they want you to. Only answer the question that you want to answer. And so, anyway, he says, so thank you for asking that. I'm glad you asked. What's the worst kind of jelly bean? The black jelly bean. Something to that effect. It's just really rambling.
If you're a
didn't really
politician,
contribute anything, and then
Never say the worst jelly bean is the black jelly bean.
That's not.
Do you also drink whole milk? What's wrong with you, man?
That looks great. I only drink
All right, so
liquids.
we have a different set today. I wanted to address that really quickly. It got cold again here, and I got tired of trying to warm up the garage. We have moved from the garage to the basement, and I just realized it's going to go from really cold to really hot really fast. And so in like 2 weeks, it'll be too sweaty. Sweaty. I meant muggy.
Sweat.
Sweaty's
No, I
a
got
little more graphic, so I'm going to say it like 6 or 7 more times.
So graphic.
I don't know, graphic, like paints a word picture that I didn't want.
WP. I got you. Yeah, sure.
So it's gonna get more muggy out there, and so we're in a nice air-conditioned basement, and we're probably gonna stay down here, you know, with the whales. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, and we have a couple of different things to talk about today. We're getting better at posting before the show.
Yeah.
I actually posted today saying what we were going to talk about, which means we have to. The last couple of times I've been like, we're going to talk about these things. We talk about everything except those. So
Well, that's good.
we're actually
Stay on
going to
track.
we're going to start with the Bill Nye story because that's my favorite, and we'll see if we can get to any others because that one might be a long one.
I mean, we've only got 1 hour. Sounded like so long when we first started doing this. Are you sure we're gonna have words for an hour?
Amor Pizza. Are we gonna have words for an hour? Amor Pizza said we should just do this by the poolside in the summer. We can run the line right out there. We can literally just like, put like parabolic mics that shoot out so that we can just be like in the pool and be like, "Yo, did you hear about the weather today?" This is how I swim.
That's how
did you hear
he
about the weather
swims.
today?
Yeah. Because the weather, the most interesting thing I can think about to talk about on a podcast.
Don't electrocute yourself.
We were just talking about the weather. Oh, it's cold out there, and then after it's
Is
done
that
being
the weather,
cold,
though?
it's not gonna
Is
be
that
cold
really
anymore.
talking about the weather though, so much as the temperature? Am I the only one who separates how cold it is outside from like the weather being like it's stormy, it's rainy, it's sunny, it's cloudy?
let's ask our audience.
What do you guys think?
only
When somebody
one?
says, hey, the weather is crazy, could they just be talking about, like, the temperature up and down?
Sign language.
Or is crazy weather typically, like, actual atmospheric happenings?
There's no temperature in the atmosphere. InfoWars. Look it up. No?
Wait, what did you
Sounds-
just
it just
say?
sounds
There's
like
no
something-
temperature. Wait, Alex Jones never actually said there's no temperature in the atmosphere.
No, nothing.
I don't know.
nothing
He may
well,
have.
I was gonna say nothing of the sort. He's probably said
Nothing
something
of
of
the
the
sort.
Actually,
Definitely said something of the sort. I
Speaking
separate
of the
them too.
sort,
I don't know why. I just told you that I separate them too. That's why I asked. But Amor Pizza says that she separates them too.
maybe we need to stop calling our audience out. Hey, you, what you said.
That's why I said
Critique.
Amor Pizza. That's the fun. That's the fun part of having. It does confuse the kids though.
Okay.
The kids these days.
So what's on the
Do you want to segue? Well, like I said, we're gonna start with.
You want me to come up with a segue?
We're gonna start.
What's the next topic? I'll segue. It's gonna be brutal though. I
Okay.
can do it. So, science is related to the environment, right? What do you guys?
Speaking of the atmosphere and
I shouldn't
weather.
have started with the word science, but that's where I was going with it. Yeah, there's a field of study about temperatures.
You mean like a science?
Oh yeah, like a certain kind of study, primarily dominated. The discussion of it is primarily fueled by the input of one man, the most accurate, most facts-oriented, FACTS.
Xerox oriented.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I saw a Xerox truck at the Wawa, by the way. Not like I didn't know Xerox.
Doing what?
I don't know. There was a guy in it, not Xeroxing things.
You know, bread is the paper. No, paper is the bread of. Dang, what does he say? I thought I had that. Joe, help me out.
But we're definitely gonna think about it. And in case, oh wait, you can't see our screen yet. So, if we would have had the clocks up instead of the whales, which we had clocks up, but they were like super reflective, you might have been able to see on our screen the reflection of the videos that we're gonna discuss today, which are about. I don't
Lots
like
of
that
different
second
things.
one. Bill Nye.
Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna get a little deep. We're gonna try not to get too quote unquote controversial. So we're gonna bring up some controversial topics.
Wouldn't wanna be
These
controversial.
this is less about arguing specific points as it is to point out how absolutely terrible. We're just gonna call this segment "Bill Nye is kind of an idiot," which sounds harsh, but just bear with me because I'm going to show you a couple of clips of him talking
Oh wait, you want me to write down
about
the
specific. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Matthew, we're gonna pause it through these. Some of these they're kind of
Please,
short.
Call me Matt.
So these are some these are some videos that Bill Nye did for Big Think, where he was talking about specific topics that are somewhat controversial. And like I said, we're not here to refute his arguments so much as try and figure out what on earth his arguments are. So as you're going to see, he kind of has a hard time putting coherent thoughts together. Not to put an opinion in your head, but we're gonna
Leading the witness.
is here. So this first one, he's talking about. Well, you can see at the bottom the title is "Does homosexuality make evolutionary sense?" This is a written-in question. I'm going to skip ahead because it takes a while, but essentially the person just asked, does homosexuality make evolutionary sense? Are humans the only people who are homosexual? So here is Bill Nye, the science guy's scientific answers. We're going to write these down, make bullet points.
heard-
Ready?
Dolphins do it too.
I saw written.
I know. I have.
You can't hear Bill? They can't hear
You're
Bill.
missing out, man.
It's good stuff.
The science guy.
Let me tell you. Could you hear the music in the beginning?
Open captions.
Could you guys hear the music in the beginning? They probably couldn't hear that either. Let's see now.
You're missing out.
Why is it we can hear him? Nope. Okay. All right.
You know how you can only hear the bells if you believe in Santa?
That's not the case.
If you don't believe in science, you can't hear Bill Nye. Because you need to believe.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I'm not seeing any desktop audio in here real quick. Well, that was... 1 second. You were saying? What you're saying about the...
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. What was I saying?
Channels, stereo.
Yeah. The silver bells. If you don't believe in Santa, you can't hear them. They're like on the reindeer or something.
Wait,
yeah,
they say that? They say if you don't believe in Santa, you can't
If
hear
you don't
Santa's
believe in the
bells?
consensus of science, you can't hear their figurehead, is what I was getting at, you know? Bill Nye, the mechanical engineering undergraduate degree guy. Sorry.
You have to...
Tipped my hand a little bit there. Yeah, the undergraduate mechanical engineering science guy.
I read on Wikipedia today. I was reading about scientists and what constitutes a scientist. The second paragraph started with the line, "Now, engineers are not scientists."
Nice,
I was like, oh, come on. Did they have anyone in... Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You gotta
Andrew.
say what? Thank
He
you
said
for what?
assign it as homework. That's what you should do. This video is now officially
do that?
homework for any... We can't do that. All right, 1 second. You're distracting me. I'm going to open my volume mixer.
So Black Mirror, anybody seen Black Mirror? If not, watch episode 2 of season 1. That's the only one I would recommend.
Episode 2 of season 1?
I should
Really?
have said the season first, but I was thinking of the episode number first. I don't know why.
I started episode 2. Episode 1 was... I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I see that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad I watched it. I would never watch it again, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody because it can be a little offensive. But the idea was just insane. What's the basic idea? The basic idea.
Oh my gosh. Basic idea. People. I hate starting those with such broad terms. Maliciously minded individuals can humiliate prominent public figures by being anonymous. And I don't know, he had to kidnap a girl though. So like that's kind of...
You wish to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
You heard that, didn't you? I could see it on the fader. I had it set up wrong. I'm so sorry, but I got it right now. Okay.
The internet can be used for bad things. There
So to
you
finish
go.
that
That's
thought-
Black Mirror.
So to finish, really? Yeah, in general. The first episode was crazy cool because everybody had like a social score, and you could see it when you looked at someone. You could see their score.
That's not the first.
That was the first episode. It's the only one I've seen.
It's not the first episode.
They
of
have a
season
doesn't
1.
matter. Look it up.
I could be wrong.
You
I've been
are
wrong many
wrong.
times.
I've
been
only
wrong.
seen one episode. It was the first episode, and this is the only. How would I remember the wrong episode if it's the only one I've seen? Anyway, so people have a social score. It's a number. It's like a 5-star rating. Everybody has a 5-star rating, and so there's like a class hierarchy according to your 5-star rating, and you can see it when you look at people. And every interaction you have with someone, you give them a rating, and so you try and be nice to people so that they'll give you more ups. Simple as that. So that interactions with everybody have become are so fake, and everybody tells people what they think other people want to hear, so that people will then give them higher ratings so that they can get a better social standing. Like the lady's trying to get an apartment, you have to be a 4.2 or higher, which is such a very specific commentary on like more abstract concepts today. You have to have a credit score of a certain, you have to make a certain amount, you have to have a certain education to do these kinds of things. Maybe you have to have a certain family member who writes a letter and says, hey, since I'm a big deal, give my son a chance. Like all of that just put into the very basic idea of here's your number. You either are or you're not. And it's one person's, it's the lady from The Village, the blind girl from The Village.
I know I recognized her. Yeah.
She's trying to get into an apartment that she needs to be a 4.2. And so she's like contriving this scheme to try and get her numbers upped, and it's backfires. And it's an incredible commentary on people telling people what they want to hear just so that they can be better liked and have more likes on their pictures. Anyway,
they hit it on the head though. Who said that? Oh, what was it about? Somebody said social media. Oh yeah, so Amore said social media. Yeah, exactly. Social media, but it's like your life depends on it.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay. All right. So back to Bill. Here's Bill answering the question of,
Bill.
does homosexuality make evolutionary sense? So here are his very scientific, very well thought out answers to that question. Take it away, Bill.
All right.
So when I was growing up,
Yeah.
there was this controversial and super best-selling book called The Naked Ape. And this guy, the author, Desmond Morris, claimed, I guess he documented, that there is homosexual behavior among primates.
Okay, did you write that down?
What? The Naked Ape?
Yeah.
I'm on the
no,
Wikipedia
no,
page for
no.
it.
His argument number one
Super
is
controversial.
other primates are gay.
Okay.
Too.
And I well
Have-
remembered, I haven't read it in many years, was chimpanzees and bonobos exhibit homosexual behavior. And the answer nowadays that we give to everybody about this is it's a spectrum. I don't know about you,
It's a spectrum right there.
All right. I got you.
but I have known a great many gay men who are married.
A great many. I've known a great many.
Great many gay men who are married.
Who have babies, who have kids.
So he knows a bunch of great men. He knows a bunch of gay men who are married to women and have kids.
He
and
knows
that's,
so many of them.
what's that?
I don't know. He just said
So
he just seemed.
apparently, I'm not an authority on this.
He's not an authority on this. Write that down.
All right.
He's on Big Think talking about this for some reason, but he's not an authority. He just
Observer of the human condition. Apparently, there's a spectrum. Some people are more inclined to have sex with people of their same sex than others.
But that
more
would
or less is what he's saying.
be assuming.
So some people are kind of gay, and so they still get married to women and have kids. So kind of gay makes sense, I think is what he's saying.
it's a spectrum.
It's
Weren't
a-
you listening?
And
It's
I
a
think if
spectrum.
you just watch the news right now, you can see that for yourself.
Watch the news.
I've been
Gay
doing
married
that.
men with children.
And so, being somewhere on the spectrum of heterosexual with homosexual, being on that is not genetically lethal. You still have kids anyway.
Does that make you following him, right?
I would have been more convinced if he had said you could have kids.
You will. Okay.
But I mean, if you're on this spectrum, you have kids anyways. Yeah. What if you're off? I mean, what if you're completely on the far end of the spectrum? You don't have kids. San Francisco.
So, well, essentially what he's saying is gay people aren't all the way gay. So although they're gay, they also kind of sometimes like women, and so they'll have kids anyway, even though
why
they're
are
gay.
we talking about?
And
gay
you'll
men
hear
in
people
particular?
talk about
Yeah.
the feminine side. You'll hear people talk about the masculine side. You'll hear women use the expression, well, she's got a lot of balls, which can't literally be true.
Is that so?
What is he talking about? Do you remember the original question?
Does it make evolutionary sense? We
To
fall
be
on
gay.
a spectrum.
But
And
women.
so some people are more masculine than others.
There's a feminine side. There's a masculine side. Some women say that other women have a lot of balls. So
Yeah, but is the spectrum about homo to heterosexuality, or is the spectrum of genders? It seems like he might have been a little ahead of his time, you know?
possibly, but that has nothing to do with
And
evolutionary.
none that I can discern. No.
I don't know.
Tuesdays with Bill.
And by the way,
Tuesdays is not.
this is an old video because
And you'll hear people talk about the feminine side. You'll hear people talk about the masculine side. You'll hear women use the expression, well, she's got a lot of balls, which can't literally be true
Caitlyn Jenner.
Can I
if
just
we're
say
using balls in that conventional
wanna just-
construction.
Hold on.
You'll
Hold.
hear-
Did you grab the remote? Why are you grabbing the
Women
remote?
use the expression, well, she's got a lot of balls, which
See, I think that's supposed to be like
can't literally be true if we're using balls in that conventional construction. So I would say that it's something that happens in nature, and I remember very well in this book, now I haven't read it in a long time, but man, it was a big deal. Openly talking about sex in the 1960s was a big deal. That he claimed that there was more homosexuality in zoos than he observed in nature. And that may be just because we happened to capture a couple of homosexual bonobos or whatever. In other words, the sample size is way too small to extrapolate.
I'm waiting for him to wrap it up, man. This
Did
seems
you
pretty
hear the story he just told?
airtight? Airtight.
Guy was talking about how there's actually more gay apes in the zoo than there are in the wild. Although we might have just grabbed all the gay ones. We don't really know. Here's a point, but it probably has no bearing or stand. It probably doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't put any weight into this argument I just made for absolutely no
Well,
reason.
he stressed that he hadn't read it in a long time, twice in this answer.
Then why did he bring it up?
Uh,
He's
I'm not an authority. I've
He's
known
suppo-
great many gay men, and it's a spectrum. It's been a while since I read it, and then another. It's been a while since I read it. It's been a great while since I've known a great while since I read it. I don't know. It's been a long time. Look at him, man. He looks befuddled. He wasn't prepared.
So there's actually more gay apes in the zoo.
Bonobos and chimps.
That's why it makes evolutionary sense.
Did he say that? It makes oh wait, I think he.
The question is,
Well,
does
yeah.
it make evolutionary sense?
So let's celebrate being alive, everybody.
Wow, that's
Apparently, it's just something that happens in nature, and look, we're all here.
wow.
What? Okay. Read back to me what his answer to that question was. Very scientific.
Another person claimed the book was released 1967. Another person claimed there is homosexuality among primates, chimps, and bonobos. I think have exhibited this behavior. It's been a while since I read it. It's a spectrum. I've known a great many married gay men that had kids. Quote, I'm not an authority on this. And then another, it's been a great while since I read this.
Oh, you forgot women say that other women have balls.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
which they're not
I
talking
don't
about
know.
literally anyway. Which, I mean, by the way,
I like that.
Caitlyn
That's
Jenner.
clever.
I
The
mean,
pizza. Yeah, that's good.
seriously.
No, yeah. I don't,
Yes, exactly. So I'm just saying, like, that was not the best, most coherent answer
Maybe they like
I've
pulled
ever
him
heard from
right
anyone.
out of bed. This was the first thing he said all morning. They like pulled him right out of bed, sat him on the stool, and asked him a question right out. He looked befuddled.
Anyone could ask either one of us that question. Our answer would be way more coherent than that.
How much more coherent?
Way more coherent than that.
So much
It
more
was
coherent.
edited. Those were the best parts.
True.
Those were the best parts. Yeah.
All right, I'll trust your video expertise
About
here.
this is it's a spectrum. I don't know
Okay,
about
yeah,
you.
all right.
Yeah, it's
you went right
it's
to
jump
it.
cut and it's edited. Those were the best selections. They probably let him talk for like 20 minutes, and they're like, "All right, there's something in there we can use." I think.
So I think
I
we
don't
should
know.
just
No. Here's how he
life.
sums
Be
it up.
happy.
Here's
Let's
here's
hear
how he
again.
sums
I
it up.
liked this end
let's
part.
let's just give him a chance to state his argument.
What can we read the question again? I want to read the
Yes.
question again.
So, Bill, does homosexuality make evolutionary sense?
So
Uh,
let's celebrate being alive, everybody. Apparently, it's just something that happens in nature, and look, we're all here.
Look, we're all.
It
That sounds like a
happens.
Michael Scott. I don't know.
does homosexuality make evolutionary sense? It happens. That's not anywhere near an answer to that question. That's not anywhere near an answer to that question.
Well, hey, but
He didn't say, is it a thing? He said, does it make evolutionary sense? That's a way deeper question.
yeah, well, come on, man. He
Right.
gave an answer.
that's-
Look, we're
yeah.
doing a podcast, and hey, everybody.
I would
thanks
not have
for-
published that.
Uh,
I would not have
would
published that.
have.
I'm just saying, it makes him
Well,
look
not
like
if I
kind
was
of
Bill
it makes him
Nye.
look like kind of an idiot. All right, we have one more I want to show you on this, and this one's actually a little bit worse, and it's a little bit. It is. It's the best answer he has, which is why they should be talking to somebody else about this. All right, so this one again. These are some controversial topics. We're not here to talk about whether or not he's correct. We're here to show that Bill Nye is just absolutely terrible communicator and not very good at talking about what he's
So,
talking about.
just
So,
as that video pulled
Yes.
the best clips of him, we're choosing the worst clips of him to really assassinate his character. We choose people. We have targets. We're going to take them down strategically.
1.3 million views on Big Think. This is an idea channel. This is the best he has to offer. Very well edited, very well, highly viewed. This is the best he has to offer. We're not grabbing crappy shots from when he was a voiceover for Back to the Future, the cartoon. Yeah, we're not going there yet. Are you a scientist? No, but I played one on TV. Here we go. This is Bill Nye talking about can we just stop telling women what to do with their bodies? He's talking about tattoos. Okay, so like I said, we're not here to argue. We're not here to argue his point. We're here to try and figure out if he even has one. So, Bill, can tell us what's wrong with this.
Many, 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 many more hundreds of eggs are fertilized than become humans. Eggs get fertilized, and by that I mean sperm get accepted by ova a lot. But that's not all you need. You have to attach to the uterine wall, the inside of a womb.
Okay. Let's unpack what he just said just then. His opening argument was what? His opening argument was what now?
Many more eggs are fertilized than become humans.
Then become what?
Did I say humans?
You were right.
Humans. People? You might have said
yes,
people?
humans. What's the difference, though?
More hundreds of eggs are fertilized than become humans.
So he's about to tell you the others that do become humans. Listen.
Eggs get fertilized, and by that I mean sperm get accepted by ova a lot. But that's not all you need. You have to attach to the uterine wall, the inside of a womb, a woman's womb.
And by you, he means.
So how do they become people?
Who's they? The non-people?
People. An egg gets fertilized and then attaches to the inside of the womb. That's when it becomes a person, is the argument he just made. He just did. Did he not? Did he not just say many eggs get inseminated and they don't become people? You have to attach to the uterine wall, implying then you become a person. He just said the moment the fertilized egg attached to the wall. But that's like the best, most coherent thing.
But if you're going to hold that as a standard, that is to say, if you're going to say when an egg is fertilized, it's therefore has the same rights as an individual, then whom are you going to sue? Whom are you going to imprison? Every woman who's had a fertilized egg pass through her?
He strawmans so hard in this video, it's absurd. Is anyone saying a first week miscarriage should be punished by law? That's what he's implying.
Every guy whose sperm has fertilized an egg and then it didn't become a human, have all these people failed you? It's just a reflection of a deep scientific lack of understanding.
Yes, Bill, it is.
And you literally, or you apparently literally don't know what you're talking about.
I agree.
And so when it comes to women's rights with respect to their reproduction, I think you should leave it to women. It's really, you cannot help but notice. I mean, I'm not the first guy to observe this. You have a lot of men of European descent passing these extraordinary laws based on ignorance.
So white guys are passing abortion laws. White guys, make sure he was very specific.
He said
Sorry,
European
guys.
men, who are largely men.
Large European men.
Large, yeah, that's right.
Laws based on ignorance. Sorry, you guys. I know it was written, or your interpretation of a book written 5,000 years ago, 50 centuries ago, makes you think that when a man and a woman have sexual intercourse, they always have a baby.
That sounds pretty straw, man. Yeah.
That's the most straw man thing I've ever heard. If there are people who think that, yes, they're really dumb. They have zero understanding of procreation and reproduction, how that works at all. But how many people do you know think that's the case?
Over 13 or?
How many people have you heard argue, well, abortion's wrong because of every single time?
00.
Double zero. Never heard that.
00. Twice as much.
That's wrong. And so to pass laws based on that belief is inconsistent with nature. I mean, it's hard not to get frustrated with this, everybody. And I know nobody likes abortion, okay? But you can't tell somebody what to do.
You want to write that down?
Nobody likes abortion.
You can't tell somebody what to do. Is it just me, or is every single law we have telling someone to either do or not do a thing?
Yeah, no, that's what
kind of the
laws
point of
do.
laws.
That's how they operate. Yeah.
All right. Well, he's putting forth the radical notion that you can't actually tell people what to do, especially.
I mean, she has rights over this, especially if she doesn't like the guy that got her pregnant.
Especially
if she doesn't like the guy who got her pregnant. What? Who are these people he's talking about? Why? Well, okay. What if, I don't know, what if the guy, freaking heck, what if the guy does want the baby? Like, what?
he has 10% input, right? That's how it works.
I don't think he has any.
10%.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. You're very right,
That's
Twig.
exactly right. Yeah,
That's exactly what he's referring to, which is less than 0.5% of the actual abortions that take place. But my point is that he's making some really, really, really out there arguments
You wanna hear
that
the
I don't
arguments?
think people. Yeah, read us back so far. What is it he's actually arguing against?
So far, what I've got: more eggs fertilized than become humans, and by that I mean sperm get accepted by ova, but you have to attach to the wall. There's lots of European men passing laws based on ignorance, and then I would, parenthetically add to that, white guys. Nobody likes abortion, but you can't tell somebody what to do.
Can't tell somebody what to do. These are all very good, valid points. You can't tell somebody what to do.
You want me to hold it? I can just hold it like right here. So.
Yep. Hold on.
Mic problems. Ugh, hate Mike.
Like, she doesn't want anything to do with your genes. Get over it, especially if she were raped and all this. So it's very frustrating on the other side. We have so many more important things to be dealing with. We have so many more problems. To squander resources on this argument based on bad science, on just lack of understanding, it's very frustrating. You wouldn't know how big a human egg was if it weren't for microscopes, if it weren't for scientists who are medical researchers looking diligently. You wouldn't know.
How does that help his argument? How does that support his position?
If it wasn't for science, which all pro-life people just think science is just stupid, if we didn't have science, we wouldn't be able to look at eggs. So he makes a really good point here. Listen to what he says.
Oh, the process. You wouldn't have that shot, the famous shot or shots where the sperm are bumping up against the egg. You wouldn't have that without science. So then to claim that you know the next step when you obviously don't is trouble. Okay, let me do that again. Let me just pull back.
He has no point. That was the end of his point. Did you hear him finish?
Or shots where the sperm are bumping up against the egg. You wouldn't have that without science. So then to claim that you know the next step when you obviously don't is trouble. Okay, let me do that again. Let me just pull back. At some point, we have to respect the facts. Recommending or insisting on abstinence has been completely ineffective. Just being objective here. Closing abortion clinics, not giving women access to birth control has not been an effective way to lead to healthier societies. I mean, I think we all know that. And I understand that you have deeply held beliefs. And you want to, and it really is ultimately out of respect for people, in this case, your perception of unborn people. I understand that. But I really encourage you to look at the facts. And I know people are now critical of the expression fact-based. But what's wrong with that? So I just really encourage you to not tell women what to do.
Okay, that is very good advice. He encourages you to please don't tell women what to do in your general day-to-day life. I'm just going to say, thank you, Bill. That was actually the most sense he's made this whole time, except that he's actually referring to laws. You can't make laws that tell women what to do.
And not pursue these laws that really are in nobody's best interest. Just really be objective about this. We have other problems to solve, everybody. Come on. Come on.
I wish I knew as much as Bill so that I could say, if you disagree with me, you need to be more objective. I have the facts. You need to be objective and come over to my side.
He had
See
4
things my way.
4 minutes and 30 seconds to bring up the facts. What were the facts?
I didn't add
From
any
where we
more.
went. From where we went. You didn't
Well,
add any
we
more.
were lots
You
of
didn't
Europe-
add any more.
Lots of European men passing laws based on ignorance, and nobody likes abortion, but you can't tell somebody what to do.
So you have to look at the facts. You can't tell somebody what to do. Maybe a woman doesn't want to have anything to do with your genes. Stupid people think that every time you have intercourse, a baby is made. And the Bible was written 5,000 years ago. So
That's
I
50
encourage
centuries.
you. 50 centuries, if you
What?
don't know.
Okay.
All right? Yeah. That's like 500 decades. Just saying.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Is it? I'm not very good at math. We saw my math with the helicopter ride weight ratio. Thanks, Twig. But here's my point of showing you both these videos. Not to argue for or against abortion, obviously his arguments are just absurd. It's that I don't understand why people put Bill Nye up there as this figure of just listen to him. He knows what he's talking about. But he doesn't. He didn't make a single coherent point there that wasn't a straw man argument.
He's smart. Look at him. He wears a bow tie.
He's super smart, super smart. So yeah, that was my point with that. FYI, it's not a
totally
not a big
unbiased, impassionate speech.
Totally
Yeah.
unbiased, impassionate.
Speech. I mean, input.
Totally. So let's bring this back up here a sec. So, your thoughts on that? You all done?
I mean, what further thoughts do you want me to? I haven't thought about it nearly as much as you have.
No, I just on his arguments. Like I said, I'm like, we
When
all
I-
have
when I-
strong feelings on this subject. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, did he convince you? Because this is
No,
supposed to
I'm
be a
not
bullet
convinced.
points. This is supposed to be a bullet points thing that he's like, hey, here's not an EPA. Here's a public service, a PSA. Here's a PSA. Guys, stop telling women what to do. It's from the
What
science guy.
What Twig says, it's because we listened to him teach us about science. I think that ties into something you said the other day about it's like the media said, who can we get that looks like a reliable, smart, I guess reliable,
Who
but
will
reputable-
millennials
Who will millennials
take
yeah.
the word of?
All right, take the word of.
Teachers have a crazy effect on people. They do. They definitely do.
No.
Essentially, sorry.
I want to say something about it. The Thomas Sowell. I brought up Thomas Sowell. He's an academic, just died recently, and a very prolific writer. He has a book called The Vision of the Anointed. I haven't read it, but he's made many references to it in the interviews I've listened to him in. And he says something to the effect like he has his points that I assume are in the book, and he hits them multiple times. And one of them is just the vision of the anointed, that those who are plebs, schmucks, what I would say schmucks, people that just don't have this, don't share the same grandiose vision as those anointed, those that are just blessed from otherworldly forces to know what's best for everybody. Anyways, why'd I bring that up? The vision of the anointed just makes me think of how my philosophy professor last semester was like this. You don't agree with me, and just so not even defensive or on the attack against you, just you don't agree with what I have to say. And I think Bill was presenting this kind of person. He was putting this character on that I think this, and I'm about to try to act it out. Not very well, I'm sure, but just the like, oh, you don't. I can't rolling your eyes. He like rolled his eyes a few times in those videos.
Come
just
on.
like, yeah,
Come
he's
on.
like, yeah,
that was his closing argument.
whole
Come
idea-
on.
That's exactly.
Come on.
That's the point. That's the stance that I think isn't really a stance, but a lot of people kind of rely on. Like, really, like this in a sentence. Are you really gonna disagree with me? That's what I would say. Is like I grow impatient with that when I say yes, I am gonna disagree with you. Here's why. And then on a college campus, believe it or not, on the East Coast, when I've had some not interviews, but when I've talked to people about topics like this, just students, in the cafeteria, whatever. Not that I bring up abortion immediately, but you can just tell that there is this demeanor of like, really? Are you really going to question what I like? The narrative, dare I go that far? But like, are you really going to question what everybody has already accepted to be true?
Which makes me wonder, does Bill actually think that most pro-life people have those thoughts that he put forth? These ideas of well, you can't base laws on these terrible 500-decade-old ideas like every single time that you have intercourse, it makes a baby. Like, does he actually think that? Or do you think he's pulling up crappy, stupid arguments so they're easy to shoot down? Or does he really think...
Is there a name for that? When you pull up crappy arguments just to shoot them down?
He's obviously straw manning. But is he doing it?
straw man.
Is he doing it on purpose? Or does he actually think there's a large group of people and that's the argument he needs to take on to help people and do it with... Come on.
What was the first option?
Come on.
I'm going to go with not the second option.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
The first.
Go into the chat real quick. Yes, Twig. Teachers have a crazy effect on us. Yes, it didn't seem like he was very prepared, which I have a leeway with people when they're in like an interview and it's like live and they're like, okay, shoot you a question and they have kind of an answer like that. But like I said, these are produced videos where they're like, hey, Bill, we're gonna want you to talk on this topic. And then they edit it and they pick his best parts and they probably cut. Can you say that more succinctly? Maybe, I don't know. Relax a bit. Stop pulling this face. So I have a little less leeway for Bill when it's like you obviously had time to prepare for this, and if you didn't, then why is this what you're putting? Somebody along the way should have been like, you can do better, unless he can't. So
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. We just won't post it. And then Amor Pizza said, our childhood media is the foundation of our society now. That's very true. It's like how now our generation uses Harry Potter as a moral reference for everything. Absolutely.
I don't know that that's the case. I don't use Harry Potter as a moral reference for anything.
I saw
Avada Kedavra.
I saw a news article the other day that was showing a bunch of pictures of people holding like protest signs that were just like, Trump is Voldemort or whatever, or like, don't say his name or something like that, or like, it's like, what would Harry Potter do? I don't remember, but it was a bunch of these silly, because I'm not a huge fan of the books or the movies. Sorry. I said huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. I'm a fan. I'm not a huge fan. I don't wear like shirts of Potter or anything like that.
I'm wearing my invisibility cloak right now.
Yeah, it's working.
Just from the hips, from the waist down. Invisibility blanket.
Andrew says it's a statement of our society that will point to opposing groups and superimpose absurd beliefs onto them. We dehumanize, we ridicule, we get angry at them instead of engaging in discussion. Absolutely.
Thanks for
true.
saying what I said more beautifully.
More beautifully. I think the biggest part of that is that it gives you the opportunity to do, like, not to say it a 10th time, but to have him go, I mean, come on. It makes you feel kind of good on the inside to be the guy going like, really? I mean, you're not that stupid, are you? Are you really that stupid? You're gonna come at me with that argument? Makes you feel smart. People like to feel smart these days. So
what?
It's not as gratifying to go. I understand. You're actually making a pretty good point, and I haven't actually looked at it that way. You don't see a lot of that on Twitter. You can see it running through Bill's statements, and and it is common on both sides of almost any disagreement these days. Absolutely, 100% agree.
What? So you're saying all of the disagreements I have are... I couldn't come up with those straw men quick enough. But I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why.
You're saying I sound like Bill Nye? Nay.
We're going to cut this video, and you're going to look so dumb when you watch it.
No, they'll just look dumb when they watch it anyway. Yeah, so like I said, my point of that was that we have these media heads like you bring up Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, who's like moral superiority. That's what she said.
Virtue signaling, is that what?
That's what she's talking about.
Okay, sorry.
Where they earthquake. I know. I'm so sorry. I need to get a better clip for this microphone. I'm sorry. I'm shaking the camera a bunch.
Not about the microphone, about my attempt. Too kind.
Attempt. Yeah.
Chat.
To what?
Straw man him.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, the delay in the chat. J.K. Rowling was all over Twitter being like...
yeah, what'd she say? I saw something about refugees.
Well, she was like talking about how Trump's terrible, and everybody's like, yeah, J.K. Rowling, because she writes good books. Fiction. She writes fiction. Let's not listen to like real world stuff, because her tweets, they're fiction.
I've heard.
What?
I've read a few times that reading fiction books in particular helps you empathize with people. That's what I've heard. Reading's good for you. Enhances your vocabulary. That's one thing it does. But I've heard that fiction in particular will help you develop relationships with people. Yeah, what are we on? We're on the Huffington Post right now.
I'm trying to find screenshots of her tweeting magic things.
What? About what? What was the tweet about? I'll help
She was tweeting Trump about how, like, I don't know. It was like, this is what happens when you... Oh, she was talking about, I think it was... Oh, no. Stop talking.
J.K. Rowling taking on Vice President Mike Pence on...
Mm-hmm. She was talking about how, like, didn't you learn from the books that, like, licking the boots of the bad of Voldemort only brings, like, pain or something? Find it. It's really dumb.
What?
It's really dumb. Essentially, people think that she's an authority on it because she wrote a really good set of books. But just like they think Bill Nye's a science guy because he played one on TV. I don't want Patrick Dempsey
I don't know who that is.
consulting on my brain surgery because he was in Grey's Anatomy as a brain surgeon. Just saying.
So many people taking... You know, I need to be on this show as a rocket scientist or as a...
I know.
I don't know.
Although we
something.
did play a clip a couple of weeks ago of John Wick and how in real life, because he played one on TV, he now is a super assassin with a really good aim. Really good aim.
So good. So good aim.
Oh, no, Twig. I could tell that was coming across clumsy, which is why I have you here.
He's a science guy. He's a science
No,
guy.
I'm not sure if you just logged in, Ben, but we looked it up at the beginning, and Bill Nye has a mechanical engineering degree, and he worked at Boeing as a mechanical engineer, and Wikipedia says engineers are not scientists. It's right there in black and white on the wiki page.
The People's
and a little bit of blue.
Encyclopedia.
What's that? Yeah,
The People's Encyclopedia, right? There you go. If you
So-
don't trust the people...
So, sorry, I was trying to speak to your point, Twig. She does. She absolutely does, which is a very important thing that one of my favorite people, Jordan Peterson's always talking about. Harry Potter's actually true. It's just not true in a literal sense. It's true. It's like a hyper truth where the morals, the ideas, the overarching story applies to so many people, and therefore it is true. Oh, hey, Sarah. So it's true in a sense, and it's absolutely 100% true. So she does understand the overarching ideas of life and how to put them in a book and relate them to people about the stories of good and evil and things like that. But that doesn't mean her political commentary on who's good and who's evil and why is actually well educated of today's events and how to apply that to the facts and the
Twitter,
history.
the Harry
Stop talking of today. So I do see your point, and I do agree. But that's the difference between somebody who writes very inspirational fictional novels and people who actually commentate intelligently on the issues of the day.
Like we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Or yesterday, whichever events that we want to talk about.
Yep.
We'll talk about the events of tomorrow.
You know what? I encourage
Colonize Mars.
100% anybody who wants to come on and argue points against us or with us. That's fine. You know, we can just all three of us just beat Bill Nye into the ground while he's not here.
You hear an echo?
Response.
Echo.
Sorry, this chamber is a bit too
If
big
you want to come on and
to
agree
hear
with
the
us,
echo.
we're okay with that. That's fine.
No, but I hope somebody makes a response video pointing out how stupid our arguments are, and because then it'll like go viral. Check out these two idiots talking. Come watch our show and laugh at us for being stupid and don't like our arguments. That's fine.
No, yeah. If you've got better arguments,
Rage in the comments about how Bill Nye is gospel and he's a genius, and share this with all your friends about how dumb our arguments are. That's fine with me. It's absolutely fine with me.
I'm okay with that.
Are you okay with that too?
Yeah, it's
All right.
fine.
7 million hate watches. I'll take it. Gosh dang it anyway. All right. Okay. Well, there was one other thing that since Sarah's here, is Ben with you, Sarah? I keep feeling like, oh no, I'm calling these people by name. The anonymity. The other two people in chat. 7 watching. We have 7 watching right now. 7 watching. Comment. Tell us. It's not like we're being non-discussional today. Is Ben there? Because Ben asked. Nope. All right. Well, he's gonna watch this tomorrow anyway. He asked me to talk about this.
And if you comment, we'll talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah,
Say,
that's
we're
fine.
responsive.
If you've got a question for our joint think tank chamber of minds. Chamber of minds. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not what I meant to type at all.
What else are we talking about, man?
This poor lady.
Oh my.
This poor lady.
Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel
Dolezal.
Dolezal. You're right.
The Daily Wire.
The Daily Wire. This story comes to you courtesy of the Daily Wire. Remember Rachel Dolezal, the white lady who pretended to be black. She's back in the news. If you haven't read this story, they'll recap real quick. The former NAACP operative who donned blackface and put on a seemingly racist minstrel show as a means of dissociating from her white privilege. Essentially, she pretended to be black. That kind of was confusing the way they stated it there. I don't know if she told people she was or she just let people assume she dyed her face and did her hair differently to make, oh, here's some pictures. Yay. Which is an interesting thing.
What?
To
What's
adopt
interesting about it?
well, people who are privileged, like it says, to remove her white privilege, to disassociate from her white privilege, for her white shame, she intentionally subjected herself to possible discrimination to make herself feel better, I guess.
Then
She's back in an uncomfortable interview with NBC's Today Show on Tuesday. Dolezal doubled down on her faux blackness, telling the hosts, I don't have any regrets about how I identify. This
I identify as.
This is what is wrong when you start taking scientific fact and say that it is subjective. There's subjective facts. What's interesting is this lady, Rachel, has had a really tough time in the last year, 2 years, because when it came out that she was white, not black, everyone was not happy. They were very upset.
Bummer.
Even though she was doing it to try and absolve her white guilt and to transition. Ugh. Okay, I'm going to make this point real quick because we got to go. People call Caitlyn Jenner stunning and brave because she wants to be called a woman now.
Good for them.
Even though
Her.
there are like 9 different scientific biological reasons why that's just factually inaccurate. Whereas this woman says, hey, I identify as a black person, which is far, far more reasonable to assume, well, how much of your heritage has to be of African descent to be. That's not as easily defined as, I don't know, chromosomes, genitalia, things like that. Whereas this is the new direction we're going, right? People and the thing is, it wasn't accepted. People weren't like, oh, okay, cool, which I think was a bit hypocritical. If they're gonna, like I said, stunning and brave, man wants to be a woman. Woman wants to be a woman with slightly darker skin, and she's a pariah.
What is Michael Jackson?
But the problem is she wants to be accepted this way. She thinks this is totally normal, and you can't really blame her because in today's society, crazier things than this are normal. She's transracial, I think. I'm not sure. Let's see. Here's Dolezal's monologue about finding herself. I do wish I could have given myself permission to really name and own the me of me earlier in life. It took me almost 30 years to get there.
What tags does this article have?
Racism.
It's true. It does.
Certainly. I feel like it's a complex issue. Yeah. Do you think self-discovery and self-identity is a complex issue? It takes
Socrates
about 30
did.
years to get there.
It does.
I feel like it's a complex issue. How do you just sum up a whole life of kind of coming into who you are in a soundbite? Those conversations, I feel like moving forward, I don't have any regrets about that.
It's a short monologue. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah, it's more like a monostick.
It's difficult to capture what I'm feeling in a soundbite. Here's the soundbite we captured. What?
Yeah, so yes, that's 100% what she was doing. That's 100% Twig. I think some people felt she was appropriating black culture, pretending to have a different heritage. That is exactly what she was doing. I don't think it was. I think it's absolutely, cognitively, it's wrong. That's what it is. I think it's wrong. I think it's. Thank you, Amor Pizza. So heritage as in DNA or experience? That's a very good question. But that, I don't know. That sounds like kind of, I'm sorry, Amor Pizza, that sounded kind of racist. Are you saying all people of a darker persuasion have the same life experience? I don't think you should cluster people together like that. You don't know me. What? What were you saying?
No, I'll go too much on a tangent. If people of all, but I'm going to go on it right now.
Go on a
if
tangent.
people that all share the same DNA and heritage did have the same experiences, then it would support the notion of affirmative action, that all black people are the same, all Asians are the same. That's why we need to have a certain mix of black to Asian people in the workforce. Sorry, I try to bring it back to the
but the first part you said made sense, and the second part, no, the first part didn't make sense, and the second part did. You lost me there.
Oh,
You went on a logical train from something illogical to something perfectly fine.
Tags, tangent.
Tax tangent. Yeah, being sarcastic. That is a very good point. The assumption that because of the color of your skin you should get preferential treatment assumes that they can make judgments about you. Okay, the word prejudice means to prejudge somebody. So it's prejudice if you make any assumptions about somebody based on the way that they look. Any whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tick this box, and I'm sorry, but Asian kids have to make a higher score. They actually get a score cut on their ACT or the SAT score.
I know.
They're like, you get 200 points off your SAT because you're Asian.
Heard that.
That's a fact. That's ridiculous. So anyway, now that let's see, what did we hit? Homosexuality, abortion,
covered
and then racism.
homosexuality.
There we go. We hit, but not just any zoo animals. Gay apes in the zoo.
White men make laws
Gay
that
zoo
oppress
apes.
other people. European
Yes.
men make laws that repress other people's
So-
identity.
Let me sum up.
And
Bill
some-
Nye is kind of an idiot, and he seemed unprepared for those, but those were very well produced. So I'm going to say rather than unprepared, he's just used to talking out of the side of his face and really just doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. Which is funny because I think in both of those, no, in the one video, he said several times, you just don't know what you're talking about. Because, like, you know.
Because science.
Because don't tell...
Microscopes.
Come on.
You wouldn't know.
Don't tell women what to do. You should just take that quote and be like, there you go. There's good advice.
I like that. Yeah,
So, let's end on that note. Don't tell women what to do.
There you go. I'll stand. Seconded.
And
Seconded.
don't pretend to be something you're not. So, I think that's about...
So give us 5 stars, like, share with your friends.
Yeah, rate this video. Remember when that was a thing?
Only one quotation.
You used
mark.
to you used to be able to rate the video. Hey, rate this video as I'm holding my mic and banging it into things. So this is such a duct tape production. It's a lot of fun. So, hey, I just want to say thanks so much for you guys, Korean heritage, but because of differences of appearance, we obviously can't relate. It's another way of dividing us. I guess easier to manage. All right, I would like to end on this note. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week. We
Same place?
yeah, well, you know what? We might
We're thinking about going on the roof for next week.
yeah.
Tell us in the comments what you think.
In the pool. We'll be in the pool. It's cold here for pooling. So yeah, we'll be back 10 o'clock next Thursday, Eastern time. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for commenting. The lively discussion in the chat's always appreciated. And I would leave you with these 2 thoughts. 1, don't tell women what to do. And 2, we are all a minority. The smallest minority
Of?
of 1. The more we subdivide people, eventually we come down to the idea that we are all in our own individual one-person groups that nobody else is part of and can't really relate to. So if we're going to judge people by their groups, judge me as me and him as him, not us as Matts. That has been our show. We are Matt and Matt. This is Matt to Matt. We'll see you guys next week. This will be up tomorrow, posted. So we'll share it on Facebook. Watch it again. But share it with your friends. Post it. Thanks so much. We will see you guys later.
Till then.
Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. No, I've got something over here. Let's try. Here we go. Can they hear it? Can they hear us? I don't think they can hear us. I don't think they can hear us. Oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. That was so embarrassing.
I can't believe you did that, though.
That's all right. I don't think
Liked it? You're holding up.